wanted to do this video, which it's not really a video, it's me just kind of talking because I didn't want to actually have to do a physical video because I'm still in my pajamas. But there's some things some talking points that I really wanted to discuss when it comes to entrepreneurship, because for one, I'm obsessed with it. And for two, I still feel like I'm living in a dream like state. Like, I can't believe I'm doing what I'm doing. So I was looking at some memes. I actually have several Facebook pages and several group pages as well. And I was looking at some memes that were saying that it was saying that entrepreneurs are born, like they're not created, they're born. And to me, that's actually not true. If somebody would have told me that I was going to be a business owner of several businesses in the next 3 years, I would have laughed in their face. I would have been like, yeah, right. I would not have believed them. So I'll give you guys a reason why I said that. I say that I was raised by military parents, and they were like a lot of American parents. I think they're very practical about what we should do for a living when we grow up. They were more like, and I'm African American, so my parents really didn't push the whole going to college. They were more like, just finish. We just want you to finish high school, and you have to have really good grades in high school. And that was their only goals of us. So, I mean, I guess in some aspects, by the end of this video, you could say I was born to be an entrepreneur, but I didn't even know what an entrepreneur meant, and my parents never talked about it. And ironically, it's so weird because my grandfather was actually an entrepreneur, and I saw him never work for anybody as I was a little girl living. I lived with my grandmother and my grandfather for 3 years while my mother was overseas serving in the military in Germany. And I didn't really realize that was what he was even doing, which just goes to show again just how out of touch my mindset was when it came to entrepreneurship. And you might wonder, like, how in the heck were you right there looking at it and didn't know what it was? And that's really what I want to talk about. Like, when they say that you're born to be an entrepreneur, I'm not really sure what that means exactly. I don't know if they're meaning more like in the spirit, but I was never really one of those children that that dreamed of being an entrepreneur, because I didn't even really know what it was. So I was more like the type of child that I would have grand ideas, but I really wouldn't follow up on them because I was always afraid of, failing, or, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just always afraid. And so and then, also the fact is we grew up in a school system that promoted more, I didn't really know this was happening at the time, but they seemed to promote more of you being an employee than an entrepreneur, like working for someone else. So that's what my parents kind of raised me to aspire to do. Like, my dreams were, when I grow up, I want to be, my dreams are more like, when I grow up, I want to be the CEO of IBM or something like that. And I had these amazing dreams, these huge aspirations. Like, I knew I was going to go in the military since I was like 12 years old. Just a lot of different things that I knew I was going to be doing, but I didn't ever think of owning my own business. So, and the reason why was that I didn't, for me, it was more like I thought that people who own their own businesses were just old white guys. Like, I didn't think that was something for me to do. So I I don't know. I just never thought to do it. So when I got older, I realized I went to college, and a lot of the goals I had were more for myself and just something I just really, really wanted to do. My parents weren't really pushing me a whole lot to do it. It was just something I just wanted to do. So I ended up going to college, and um, I actually ended up going all the way up to getting my MBA. And you know what, again, it's so crazy is I actually went that high of a level up and still did not know what an entrepreneur really was. Didn't even know the word, didn't use the word in everyday language. Nobody in my circles, including my family, ever talked about it. So it was just something I just never thought much about it. So, so yeah, so anyway, so I as I got older, I'm sorry, I'm trying to like call myself multitasking. I'm always working now, but more on that later. So as I got older, even after I got my MBA, I remember taking this class, and it's so funny because my mind went back to that moment, and I had this professor who said that if you were taking this program, this MBA course, and you don't have any aspirations to be an entrepreneur or to be like even a manager at some point, like managing others, you're in the wrong program. And I remember like sitting there like thinking like, oh my gosh, like I don't know what to do because I don't have any. And when I say I don't have any aspirations to do any of that stuff. So it was just crazy to me because it was just like, okay, I don't know what to do now. So I said, of course I stayed in my course. Like I wasn't really going to leave and go anywhere because I'm like, I've put too much work into it. But the thought just kind of stayed with me. Um, and so I went on to, I'm trying to think, like I went on to graduate with my MBA, and then I set out to figure out what I was going to do with the rest of my life in my new degree. And I remember people asking me, are you going to go do like your doctorate now? And I was just like, I'm so sick of school. So, it's like I really had no clue what I was going to do next. And it was really kind of scary because I was like, I don't have any clue what I'm doing with this degree. I have this nice, beautiful MBA. I have no clue what to do with it. And I went to my job where I was working, and they were like, I thought I was going to get more money for having that degree, and they just were like, yeah, great job, have a great day. I didn't get a promotion, nothing. And so I remember becoming more disgruntled about that because I was like, okay, like I thought someone said like by law they have to pay you more if you get a degree or whatever, but apparently that's not true, I guess. I don't know. So I was like, I'm kind of sick of working for people. And by that point, I was so over it. It was a lot of stuff going on in my job. And I just didn't like the environment. And one thing I could tell you, I always kind of, at some point I knew, like a few years into my adulthood, I can't think, like 5 years maybe into working for people, as an adult, I guess I like realized like this is not really for black people. Like it's not, I don't know. It just wasn't seeming like something that was really for us. And so I went on to, go and find what I considered my purpose. And I ended up getting laid off from that job, and I was just like, I'm not going back. Like I kind of I knew like before I even left that meeting when they were telling me, blase, 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 like we're going to have you, lay you off or whatever. I knew from that moment I wasn't going to go back. I don't know. I just kind of reflected for like a month or so and was thinking like, what am I going to do? Like, I didn't have any clue. And maybe a couple of years before I got laid off from this last corporate job, I started to notice like a lot of my friends and people around me were having like, we call them like side hustles, side, jobs on the side, things like that. I didn't really know anyone who was doing it full time except my fiance. Like he owns a trucking business, and he owns real estate. He's an investor of 2 homes. He has tenants. And I mean, he was just doing it big. And I was like, I remember just thinking, like, you always want to kind of be around people who are going places. And my mother told me that, when I was growing up, like, when I was going to the military, she was like, get with somebody who's going somewhere, and stick by them, stay with them. Don't be hanging out with people who ain't going nowhere. And so I was like, he's going places. Like, I want to be around the people who are living the life I want to live. So we ended up getting in a relationship, which was amazing. I love him to death. And I think like being with him just really gave me that inspiration to do something different. I saw him doing it, and he gave me the confidence to do something different. So, but the thing was, the reason why I hadn't done anything yet was because I just didn't know what to do. And so one day, my fiance was like, why don't we start a t-shirt business? Because we had talked about the t-shirt business prior to me getting laid off. We were kind of discussing it, but I basically like tabled that discussion because I was thinking about the other business I had just started. It's called Africa Love Roots, and I actually started a year before I got laid off. So I was like, when he said it, I was like, ding! It was like a light went up in my head, and I was like, that's the ticket. Like, that's what I can do. I know. Let's start doing it. And so I started researching everything I could. I followed a lot of videos on YouTube by Gary, the t-shirt help desk guy. I promise you, I think some of these videos you should get charged. I mean, they're so informative, so valuable to some of our lives. And so I followed his videos religiously for probably a month or so, and pretty much tried to copy everything he taught me. And then, like, in the process of following him, I started to find like other ways to do things, because I discovered Shopify and stuff like that. And then I kind of like moved away, outgrew, like, because I still had that IT background, so I pick up on things really quickly. And so I built my website for the first time. And let me tell you, like, the website thing terrified me at first. The shopping cart terrified me. Shipping terrified me. So there was a lot of things that scared me so much. And so people who pretend or who think that, entrepreneurs are just fearless and they know everything and blah, blah, blah. That's not really the case. Like, I was actually really, really scared. And the only thing that can get you past that fear is to come out of your comfort zone and try something new. So I came out of it. At first, I was going to pay someone to do my website because I just thought, I don't know how to do that. I've never done a website. Even though I was in the IT field, I did other things. A lot of people don't realize how broad IT is. And I'm just grateful that I got stuck in this position where I couldn't really afford to pay someone to do my website, because I ended up having to do it myself. And that is now becoming another business that I'm going to run. But yeah, so my point of my video is to tell you guys that you don't have to feel like, I don't know, like you have to be a certain something to be an entrepreneur. Like, anyone can be an entrepreneur. That's what I want to really say. Absolutely anybody can be an entrepreneur. The main thing is you have to just believe in yourself at all costs. You have to know that you can do this. And don't let anyone tell you any different, ever. So that's what I really want to get out to you guys. It's just that being an entrepreneur to me, because everyone's different, of course, but being an entrepreneur to me is like a mindset. It's not really, it doesn't really matter if you were born into it or you've been doing it your whole life or whatever. just start doing it. Just do it. Like, whether you are investing in someone else's business and now you're part owner, or you just launched your online business, however you do it, just get it done. Just get in the game. And you can't, like they say, you cannot win unless you play. And the thing is, that's so interesting to me, is like, once you become an entrepreneur, to me, I don't know about others, but I just get so many ideas all the time now. Like, it's like my mind has switched from worker bee and being an employee to entrepreneur, and I literally cannot turn off the ideas. Like, they come to me 24/7, 365. Right now, I'm currently setting up my fiance's business, and then I'm going to, once I set up his business, I'll be setting up my third business. I have a t-shirt. Well, the t-shirt company kind of basically expanded into a full-fledged e-commerce business that actually I'm about to add services to. And then, like directories, a directory. And then, what else happened? Oh yeah, my second business is it's basically a school to teach people how to be entrepreneurs. And then, trying to think what else. And then it's also a susu, which you may be wondering, what is a susu? A susu is actually when you, one second, I'm sorry guys. This is when you put your money with others, and then by a certain time period, you guys will come together and, give that money to a certain person. So that's something else I'm working on. And then this third business is actually going to be a notary, a mobile notary business. My fiance and I just got commissioned, and so, I'm working on that now. And it takes a lot to do it. So I basically build his website, and one second, mobile friendly name test. So I basically 24/7. I basically built his website out, and trying to think what else I have done. Now I'm promoting it. So it's it's pretty interesting. And then once I finished doing all this for his business, it's a lot of setup. Like, I had to get him a business line, a business phone number, a website, and now I'm business cards, and that's just the basics. We also ordered him a stamp for his notary sale, because it has to either be ink or the raised sale. And then he's in the state of Maryland, so his laws are a little different from mine. But then we are going to, now I'm promoting it, because of course, you can have a wonderful website, but if no one knows you're there, no one knows you're there, right? So you have to make yourself available. So that is what I am doing now. And I'm just adding my guy in here. I'm really excited. Showcase your best work. I just add some paint, some photos or whatever. But yeah, so I am just really excited, and I just want to talk to you guys about it, because it's just a lot of great things going on, and I just want to be kind of inspirational to people who feel like they hate their job, they want to get out, but they think like being a notary is not for them, or not being a notary, I'm sorry, being an entrepreneur is not for them, because you may not want to be a notary. I love it, but surprisingly, a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to do it. But yeah, so just keep your it's really about keeping yourself open-minded, um, not really closing your mind, just being in a position that you're almost so desperate that you're willing to try anything. Like that's that's basically where the point I got to is that I'm desperate. I'll try anything at this point because I don't want to go back to that hellhole, and that's what brought me here to where I am today, and I love it. So, hopefully you guys will hopefully this is helping you, and you're going to go on to do great things and be amazing, because I know you can do it, and I'm just really excited for everybody. So I will talk to you guys later. Until I speak to you again, I love to always say, take care of yourselves and each other. Peace, love, and light. I'm out.